On this channel, Million Dollars Made Easy, I love to run numbers for people. And the way you have me run numbers for you is just put in the comment section what numbers you want me to run, what your beginning balance is, how much you want to put in a month, and for how many years we're looking at. And I really request that you don't have less than 20 years. And here's the reason why. We don't know what the coming decades will be. We don't know whether it's going to be a decade like the 30s or maybe the 2000s. So I really want to get numbers that have at least 20, if not 30 or 35 or 40 years to run these numbers to catch all these good uh, returns, not just some of the negative ones, because you can have a down decade. Let me show you what's going on here. If we, for example, let's just, for example's sake, let's say you have $100,000 and you put that in the market in the year 2000, look where you'd be after 10 years. Remember, you're starting with 100,000. Here's the numbers right here, but it's also a summary box right up here. You have less than what you started with. You have $90,883. Keep that in mind. This 10-year box right here. Let's just go 10 years later. No change except the timing of the market. All of a sudden, you have 356,000. Basically, 4 times as much money without doing anything different but switching decades. So if you ask me to run it for like 15 or 18 years, I'm not really comfortable doing that because I don't know if we're going to catch a down decade. I like to see at least 20 years, if not preferably at least 25. But I do have a 20-year column here. But I don't really run less than 20 years because, again, we don't know whether you're going to have the 90,000 or just 10 years later, the 356,000. That is quite a gap, starting with 100,000, ending up with less than what you started with, only 90,000, or just 10 years later, you got 356. Excuse me, I hit the wrong one. 356,000. But I do have some request here. Somebody's 41 years old. They have $78,000. And so they're going to have, if they're 41, they do have the 25 years. So they do kind of fit the what I'd like to run numbers for, at least 25 years. He said he wants to run several different scenarios. He wants to run at $300 a month. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. Again, it's going to update for every single year for the last 100 years. We're going to be looking at the 25-year column because he'll be 66 then. Okay, in the worst case scenario, for a 25-year period in the last 100 years, you'd have 728,000, and the median would be $1.22 million. So 728,000 in the worst case scenario. He also wanted me to run it with a 2% COLA, not a COLA, but increasing that $300 by 2% each year. Let's see what the numbers might go. Again, it's 728 right now. We're looking at this column. 728, what does that 2% difference make over a 25-year period? Well, that gets it up to 794,000. Here's what we're doing. We're increasing by 2%, 300, 306, 312, and so on. So it gets it up to 794,000. Also wanted me to run it at $400 a month. Again, we'll do the same thing we did before. You're going to be close to $1 million if you just used percentages. 824,000. Again, we're looking at the worst case scenario, and it's right there in 1925. There's the number right there. Go up here, you'll see that 1925. Again, it was hitting some of these depression years, but he had 25 years. So he had some good initial years, some really down years, and then some more good years. But 824,000 is the absolute minimum you're going to see for a 25-year period. The median being 1.356 million. In other words, going that down through, that's the median. So let's run it with a 2% COLA. And again, I just love running numbers for people. You've got 824,000 there. What's again? Okay, it's up to 891,000. So it increased about $75,000 with this 2%. You want me to run $500 also. Let's go ahead and do that one. Again, this can really help you see the potential of the S&P 500, even if you just have 25 years. Okay, 902,000 is a minimum. I keep looking at the minimum. Probably should be looking at the median here, but I just want people to be aware. This is the worst case scenario for a 25-year period, but you'll go down through, or sometimes you're up to $2 and $3 million, even as much as $6 million over a 25-year period with this scenario, starting with 78,000 and increasing it by, or adding $500 a month. Now let's go ahead and do the 2% call also. In other words, 500, 510, and so on. Let's update that, see if this 902 gets very close to a million. Might be just shy. $984,000. So this individual, 41 years old, has 78,000 already. He would put $500 a month and increase that by 2% a year. He's basically getting up in the worst case scenario. That's 1924, by the way, right here. Worst case scenario for a 25-year period. This is a summary box for all these right here. 984,000. So he'd basically be right at $1 million in the next 25 years, and that's in the worst case scenario. It's very possible he could be above this 1.686 median. You can go down through it. Depends on what the next 25 years look like. Is it going to be like 1924 or 1930? It's never going to be exactly any of these, but it's going to be in the range between 984,000 and 6 million. That just shows you the potential what the S&P 500 can do for you. Obviously, if you have more time, it really multiplies. It really snowballs up here when you start going even 10 more years. We put in 100,000 more from 270 to 377, but look, it'd be almost 4 times as much money. But anyway, that's for another video. I could run other numbers, but I want to run the numbers. Please consider subscribing to this channel. We'll run any numbers that you want. Just put it in the comment section. Please subscribe. Please share this with friends and family. And please like the video. And thanks for watching.